I've been asked a question, and I normally answer in the time I'm given. I'm not really sure.
You've answered the main part of the question. I really am grateful. Could I ask my question?
Is that how it works from now? I'll give you short.
Sorry.
What's the process from now?
Sorry, I think if you've answered the main part of the question, that's fine. But if there's other additional information that you think is appropriate for the member, then you should do it. But you need to be mindful.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're diving into a tense and layered exchange straight from the London Assembly Chamber. What starts as a procedural discussion quickly turns into a lesson in political composure under scrutiny. The Mayor sits poised, trying to respond within the allotted time, but interruptions and uncertainty begin to ripple through the room. A simple question suddenly feels complex as the rhythm of governance meets the friction of impatience. The Chair intervenes, reminding everyone of time limits and process, yet even...
Move on to our next question, which is in the name of Assembly Member Bokhari concerning London Pension Funds Authority.
Sorry, my just broke. Let me down. Thank you for your question. As Mayor of London, I act as the appointing authority for the Chair and Board of the London Pension Fund Authority. My office maintains...
Her tone carries the strain of control. You can almost sense the silent glances, the quick breaths, the quiet calculations behind each response. The Mayor attempts to bring structure, reaffirming his authority and his responsibilities, but the atmosphere feels increasingly fragile. This isn't loud drama, it's the kind of tension that builds between the lines, under the weight of formality. By the time the floor moves to the next question, the audience knows something heavier is about to emerge. The calm...
...a close and ongoing relationship with the organisation through its current chair. John Preston was reappointed for a second term as chair commencing in January 2024, with the Assembly having the option, but not exercising the opportunity, to hold a confirmation hearing into his appointment. The reappointment of John Preston reflects both continuity in his leadership and confidence in the strategic direction being pursued under his stewardship. My office receives comprehensive updates and correspondence from the London Pensions Fund Authority, ensuring that my team remain informed of all key developments.
The Mayor begins his detailed explanation about the London Pension Fund Authority, and the tone shifts to a technical calm. He speaks of oversight, governance, and strategy, of his responsibility to appoint and monitor the board. The name John Preston echoes as a symbol of continuity and stability, yet every word from the Mayor seems to be laying a quiet defence. He emphasises leadership, direction, and confidence, but beneath the steady tone, you can feel the underlying weight of accountability. Each phrase is methodical, rehearsed, as if he's building a careful wall between policy and politics. The Assembly listens closely, some nodding, some waiting for their turn to challenge. The Mayor's composure suggests control, yet his pauses reveal awareness that the topic might not remain neutral for long. There's an unspoken tension between information and implication, between what's being said and what's being protected. It's a masterclass in political precision, where calm...
These updates typically include strategic priorities, performance metrics, and any significant operational matters that may arise. To ensure we are fully aware of the key issues, I also appoint an observer to the London Pensions Fund Authority board meetings. This flexible approach ensures that information flows are timely and relevant without being overly prescriptive. In addition, every year I am formally consulted on London Pensions Fund's Authority's strategic policy statement, which allows me to offer my view on the scheme's long-term goals.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm just sorry, short of time.
I'm sorry, Chair, no, I've got to answer the question.
Okay,
Engagement with the London Pensions Authority is overseen by my Chief of Staff, David Bellamy, who speaks regularly with the Chair, ensuring that London Pensions Funds Authority and the GLA work together in an appropriate way.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
In addition to these direct communications, LPFA maintains a strong commitment to transparency. Chair, I'm sorry, I've been asked a question, and I normally answer in the time I'm given. I'm not really sure.
You've answered the main part of the question. I really am grateful.
The chamber begins to tighten. Questions overlap. Interruptions come faster. What was a smooth explanation is now caught in the gears of procedure. The Chair insists on brevity while the Mayor struggles to complete his thoughts. Politeness becomes a tool of control, and time becomes a weapon. Each member pushes to be heard, to clarify, to challenge. It's a subtle but unmistakable battle for authority, rules and hierarchy against human urgency. The Mayor's tone remains courteous, yet his frustration flickers in the gaps between sentences. The audience can feel the energy shifting, like a courtroom moment when order teeters on the edge of chaos. This is where parliamentary decorum meets its limits. The official answers are overpowered by the politics of presence. Each pause, each sorry and chair, reveals how power is managed not just by words, but by who gets to speak them. The tension builds not from shouting, but from restraint, a measured...
Could I ask my question?
Is that how it works from now? I'll give you short...
Sorry.
What's the process from now?
Sorry, I think if you've answered the main part of the question, that's fine. But if there's other additional information that you think is appropriate for the member, then you should do it. But you need to be mindful. The pressure is on the members on the clock.
Show me your hands. I want to talk about annual reports and financial statements if you don't want me
to. The simple question has already been answered. Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the Mayor. Yeah. He's answered the specific question that I asked, which was actually quite a brief question.
I will remember that wording.
Right.
Perhaps you'll support us.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now, I do want to also take this opportunity to welcome the first phase of the ceasefire in Gaza. I, of course, hope that there will be an end to this horrific violence and rapid delivery of aid will be given to Gazans and the return of all Israeli hostages. But I am really worried that we have been here before when a ceasefire has broken. So the Liberal Democrats and you have publicly acknowledged that Israel has been committing.
The moment arrives when the conversation pivots sharply. Assembly member Hina Bokhari seizes the floor, steering the discussion from bureaucracy to morality. Her question lands like a stone in still water. Will the mayor push for divestment from Israeli funds? The chamber stiffens. Every listener knows this is no longer about policy, but principle. Bokhari's words carry urgency, references to Gaza, human rights, and accountability. Her tone is respectful yet unyielding, and it cuts through the politeness that came before. The mayor's expression remains composed, but his voice grows deliberate, cautious. He explains the independence of the pension fund, distancing himself from direct control. He outlines exclusions and ethical standards already in place, trying to ground the conversation in structure rather than emotion. Yet, beneath the calm reasoning, the audience feels the pull of something far deeper. This is politics meeting conscience, numbers meeting human cost. The chamber has grown quieter now.
The genocide against the Gazan people in order to hold Israel to account on an ongoing basis. Will you go one step further, like your colleagues in Labour-led Southwark, with the pension fund and agreed that the London Pension Authority should be divesting from Israeli funds?
Well, Chair, that was in my answer that I wasn't allowed to continue with. So, do you want me to go back to my answer I wasn't allowed to continue with? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so what I was going to read out, but I was interrupted, was, as Mayor of London, I have no power over how LPFA's funds are invested. The LFPA is overseen by an independent board, and investments are managed by Local Pension Partnership Investments, LPPI, who have their own legal responsibilities. Both the LPFA and the Local Pension Partnership Investment have responsible investment policies. For example, LPPI already excludes investment in companies.
The final stretch is where composure and conviction collide. The mayor resumes his statement, steady and unbroken, reasserting that the London Pension Fund operates independently and that its policies are already under review. His tone is thoughtful, deliberate, as if balancing every word on a scale of diplomacy. He reiterates his lack of direct power, yet encourages reflection on ethical investment, walking a fine line between action and neutrality. Across the table, Bokhari pushes one final time, seeking clarity, demanding a simple yes or no. The chamber holds its breath as the mayor repeats his stance, refusing to bend under pressure. It's a moment of stillness layered with tension, the kind that defines leadership under scrutiny. When the exchange ends, there's a sense of unresolved weight, a silence that lingers even after the words fade. This is not just an ending, it's the quiet echo of accountability left unanswered. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
Involved in the production of cluster munitions, anti-personnel landmines, biological and chemical weapons, and nuclear weapons. However, LPFA's responsible investment policy was written over 2 years ago, and my view, again reiterating that I have no direct power over how LPFA's funds are invested, is that they should look again at this policy in light of Israel's actions in Gaza, and my office has asked LPFA to consider this. I should add that in regard to Israel and Gaza, we have seen positive news this morning about a ceasefire, which I'm sure we all welcome, and which I hope is the start of a process that leads to the long-term peace and security in the region.
Thank you. I mean, I just want some clarity. Will you be going to the Chair of London Pensions Authority to ask him to divest from Israeli funds, yes or no?
Chair, I couldn't be clear on my answer. I'll read out the section again of my answer so she can hear.
Let's leave it there, Chair. Thank you very much.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're stepping into a tense and finely balanced London Assembly session, one that begins with quiet formality and ends in moral confrontation. It opens like any other meeting, measured voices, procedural politeness, and an expectation of order. Yet, from the very first exchange, something feels different. The Mayor sits poised, trying to address the question in the time is given, but the conversation stumbles into hesitation. Members interrupt, the Chair reminds everyone of time limits, and the rules of decorum start to strain under the weight of impatience. The tension isn't loud, it's restrained, polite, but undeniable. You can feel it in the careful tones, the slight edge in every "thank you, Chair." This isn't just administration, it's people negotiating power in real time. The Mayor's voice steadies as he dives into his explanation about the London Pension Fund Authority, listing duties, reappointments, and strategies. On the surface, it's routine governance, a Mayor outlining process and structure, but beneath that steady delivery, the mood tightens. Each word sounds like it's walking a line, every pause measured to protect both authority and credibility. There's reassurance in his phrasing, but also a sense of preemptive defense, as if he knows the calm won't last. Around the chamber, members listen with a kind of rehearsed patience, waiting for an opening. When interruptions resume, the atmosphere turns brittle. The Chair's tone sharpens slightly, the Mayor's sentences shorten, and the quiet competition for speaking time becomes its own quiet spectacle. It's a study in control, not of shouting, but of composure. Then, the real shift begins. Assembly member Hina Bokhari rises, her tone measured but her intent piercing. The topic veers sharply away from procedure into the moral gravity of world affairs. She references Gaza, civilian suffering, and the question of whether London's pension fund should divest from Israeli assets. Suddenly, the chamber's energy changes, the political becomes personal, the bureaucratic becomes ethical. Her words are firm, respectful, but carry the weight of conviction. What was once a discussion about structure and transparency now stands face to face with questions of humanity and justice. The Mayor listens, his expression controlled, his body language cautious. When he replies, his voice is careful, deliberate, heavy with the responsibility of representation. He reminds the chamber that the pension fund operates independently, that the city's role is oversight, not interference. It's a rational answer, but one that leaves the air thick with implication. He notes that certain unethical investments are already excluded, citing bans on cluster munitions, chemical and nuclear weapons. His reasoning is precise, but the tone around him feels charged, almost brittle. You can sense that both speaker and listener understand the subtext. This is about values as much as policies. Bokhari presses again, her persistence steady but unwavering. She asks the question every viewer silently wonders. Will the Mayor personally urge the fund to divest? The simplicity of her request amplifies the tension. Cameras capture the smallest reactions, the tightening of shoulders, the stillness of faces, the silence that fills the gaps between words. The Mayor holds his ground, reiterating his position without deviation. He neither inflames nor yields. Instead, he maintains the delicate balance of political discipline. Around the room, that calm feels almost dramatic. It's the kind of silence that makes the heart of public office visible, leadership defined not by answers but by how one chooses to withhold them. The exchange ends, but the atmosphere lingers heavy, filled with things said and unsaid. In that final moment, the viewer can feel the duality of politics itself, duty on one side, morality on the other. The Mayor's professionalism meets Bokhari's passion in a collision that's both respectful and revealing. The chamber eventually moves on, the session formally concluded, but everyone present knows that what transpired was more than administrative debate. It was a test of conviction, a reminder that even in the measured cadence of government, emotion and ethics are never far beneath the surface. This is politics in its purest form: power under pressure, truth filtered through responsibility, and composure masking the weight of conscience. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.